Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen received the news of the graduation of a Cambodian military student in the United States named Moon Pik, who was given a cow rope leash and a krama by his grandmother on graduation day. Prime Minister Hun Sen has called on all ministries, institutions, and authorities at all levels to make important changes that can address the root causes of the vulnerability of children, especially girls, indigenous children, and children with disabilities. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen says European Union leaders agreed to cut 90% of oil imports from Russia by the end of this year. The son-in-law of former Russian leader Boris Yeltsin, who helped Vladimir Putin come to power, has quit his role as a Kremlin advisor. And the song Rainbow for Tomorrow, recorded in Cambodia during the 1980s, was handed over to the Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs by the Japanese Foreign Ministry through its embassy as a show of friendship between the two countries. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gauchan. Prime Minister Hun Sen received the news of the graduation of a Cambodian military student in the United States named Moon Pik, who was given a cow rope leash and a krama by his grandmother on graduation day. Upon seeing this news, the Prime Minister said that the grandma did this as a reminder to her grandchildren of their difficult family past. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
Commenting on a Facebook post shared by the Secretary of State of the Ministry of Social Affairs, M. Chan Mekara, on the news of Mr. Moon Pik's graduation from the American Military Academy in the United States on Tuesday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen wrote, "She did as a reminder for her grandchildren not to forget our difficult history. I also wish my grandchildren happiness and prosperity." Moon Pik posted on his Facebook page on Monday, 30th of May, that his grandmother had been keeping the cow rope and krama for 10 years in order to hand it over to her grandchildren when they graduated and received their degree. He wrote, "It has been 10 years since she kept the krama and rope I used and waited for me to return home. I always used them to hold rice, water, and books when I would herd cows while living in my hometown. Most of the time in the krama, there was only rice and salt that she would pack. Now she uses this old cow rope and krama as a gift for my graduation day from the American Military Academy." The words that Moon Pik's grandmother told him when he received his degree and she handed over her gift were, "Now I return your stuff back to you. Please don't forget where you were born. You used to be a kid who took care of and herded cows." Upon hearing such words, Moon Pik said, "I almost shed tears when I heard the one who took care of me since I was born until adulthood said this. It was the most precious gift in my life. Thank you, dear grandmother." Many members of the public also extended their congratulations to Moon Pik on his graduation. "Your grandmother is very happy to see her grandson get a good education. Really the only one in the world with this special gift," wrote one Facebook user. Another user commented, "Read about your true history and I am really excited and feel pity in my heart. Today you can do it, achieving the dream that not everyone can reach. On behalf of the children of poor farmers, this is a great honor for myself and your grandmother, especially the pride of the Khmer nation. Congratulations, and I extend my admiration from the bottom of my heart." Finally, one user said, "This work clearly shows that Cambodia can do it, and our country certainly does not fall far behind other countries." Dekanin, EAC News.
The president of the Cambodian Red Cross, First Lady Vladimir Hun Sen, led a delegation to pay homage and present relics to the monks at the Cambodian Buddhist Cultural Center and planted 800 trees for the benefit of humanity and the environment. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the story.
First Lady Vladimir Hun Sen led a delegation to worship and present relics to the President of the Permanent Assembly of Buddhism, Venerable Omlam Heng, the Chairman of the Secretariat of the Mohanikaya Monk Order, Dr. Cheng Bonchir, the Director and Deputy Secretary General of the National Assembly of the Buddha, Venerable Kim Son, along with the 9 other monks who went to sprinkle Bama Jai Bongkol for the First Lady and her delegation. At the same time, in light of the serious threat of climate change, global warming, droughts, floods, agricultural land degradation, and the spread of pests on crops, First Lady Vladimir Hun Sen and the delegation also planted 800 trees in the center for the benefit of the people and the environment. In general, Cambodian leadership always set an example and calls on compatriots to pay attention and cooperate in continuing to plant more good seedlings on vacant land in pagodas, institutions, departments, educational institutions, villages, and more public spaces as a contribution to increasing the green cover at the local level. In addition to replanting trees, it is important to work together to protect the existing forests and flooded forest areas to maintain the balance of a good environment and a pleasant place to attract tourists. After planting the saplings, the First Lady and the delegation visited the Temple of the Three Gods, the first temple to show its beauty in the Buddhist Cultural Center of Cambodia. The Cambodian Buddhist Cultural Center was built on a 126-hectare land concession from the royal government of Cambodia in the area of Presoramarit Korsama Kirirom National Park in Phnom Sruit District, Kampong Speu Province. It is the largest Buddhist cultural center in the history of Cambodia, and all of its achievements will become the cultural heritage of the nation. The construction of various buildings at this center are to promote Buddhism and to especially be a merit for the common people. All the new infrastructure that has been built in the center of Cambodian Buddhism by 2021 cost more than $5.9 million. Dekanin EAC News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhon, has said that Cambodia's political will and commitment toward ASEAN community building efforts have been consistent and relentless ever since joining the Union in 1999. He made this statement while speaking at the workshop on Cambodia's contributions to ASEAN since assuming membership in 1999 at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Phnom Penh on Tuesday, 31st May. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has further details.
During his speech, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhon stated that Cambodia is motivated and inspired to work harder to advance ASEAN community building, and highlighted that the theme of the ASEAN ACT, Addressing Challenges Together, which emphasises ASEAN centrality, unity and solidarity, and was set by Cambodia upon assuming the ASEAN chairmanship in January 2022. Speaking more on Cambodia's membership of the ASEAN, the Deputy Prime Minister described how Cambodia was the 10th and last member to join the ASEAN family back in 1999, making one of the greatest foreign policy achievements in terms of regional integration and multiculturalism for Cambodia. He further highlighted all major achievements made during the two major prime times that Cambodia assumed the ASEAN chairmanship in 2002 and 2012. The first time assuming the chairmanship, it was 2002, just 3 years after joining the association. Cambodia contributed to easing tensions in the South China Sea with successful conclusion of the Declaration of the Conduct and Parties of South China Sea document, and also hosted the first ASEAN-India Summit to strengthen ASEAN-Indian cooperation. The second time assuming the chairmanship in 2012, Cambodia successfully hosted the 20th and the 21st ASEAN Summits in Phnom Penh, and was able to deliver even more achievements, such as association of the Treaty of Amenity of Cooperation of Southeast Asia by the UK, the EU and Brazil, the first country in Latin America to do so, the launch of negotiations on the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the world's largest trade pact, which entered into force last year, and the adoption of the joint settlement on the 10th anniversary of the DOC, reaffirming the joint commitment between the ASEAN and China to promote peace, stability, mutual trust and confidence through the further implementation of the DOC. Regarding this year's chairmanship, Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhon outlined how several ASEAN-related meetings and activities have already been successful, convened under the three Asian community pillars. Even despite the risk of COVID-19, including the ASEAN Foreign Ministers' retreat held in February, he further undisclosed how Cambodia's chairmanship was kick-started with the Prime Minister Hun Sen's visit to Myanmar on the 7th and 8th of January, which helped pave the way for the implementation of the five-point consensus. The Deputy Prime Minister's own first visit to Myanmar as a special envoy of the ASEAN Chair in March, and a subsequent convening of the consulate meeting of the Asian Humanitarian Assistance to Myanmar early in May. He also highlighted the ASEAN-US Special Summit held in Washington, D.C., jointly co-chaired by the ASEAN Chair, Prime Minister Hun Sen, and the US President Joe Biden. He said this was a milestone event and marked 45 years of the ASEAN-US dialogue relations and helped chart the future direction of ASEAN-US partnership, including the upgrade of relations to the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership to the highest partnership under the ASEAN framework, at the 10th ASEAN Summit to be held in November 2022. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported no new COVID-19 cases for the 23rd day straight. There have been 3 new patient recoveries and no new deaths. The total number of Omicron cases in the kingdom stands at 15,821, with 1,362 imported and 14,459 local community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has stalled at 136,262. The death toll stands at 3,056. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 133,204, and the tally for imported cases remains at 21,219.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
European Union leaders agreed to cut 90% of oil imports from Russia by the end of this year, European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said early on Tuesday, 31st May.
Von der Leyen added the remaining 10% will be temporarily exempt from the embargo so that landlocked Hungary, which was the main holdout for our deal, along with Slovakia and the Czech Republic that are all connected to the southern leg of the pipeline, have access which they cannot easily replace.
I'm very glad that the leaders were able to agree in principle on the six sanctions package. This is very important. Thanks to this, Council should now be able to finalize a ban on almost 90% of all Russian oil imports by the end of the year. This is an important step forward. Now left over is the around about 10 or 11% that are covered by the southern Družba. And indeed, here we have agreed, this is for the moment being exempted. We have agreed to that the Council will revert to the topic as soon as possible in one way or the other. So this is a topic where we'll come back to and where we will still have to work on. But it is a big step forward, what we did today. This is good that we now de-SWIFT the Sberbank. There is a ban on insurance and reinsurance of Russian ships by EU companies, a ban on providing Russian companies with a whole range of business services, and very important, the suspension of broadcasting in the European Union of 3 further Russian state outlets that were very typically spreading broadly the misinformation that we have witnessed over the last weeks and months.
Von der Leyen added the EU leaders' deal would clear the way for other elements of a sixth package of EU sanctions on Russia to take effect, including cutting Russia's biggest bank, Sberbank, from the SWIFT messaging system and banning 3 more Russia state-owned broadcasters. The EU has rolled out 5 rounds of sanctions since Russia invaded Ukraine in February, demonstrating uncharacteristic speed and unity given the complexity of the measures. But a struggle over an oil ban exposed a struggle to widen sanctions as the economic risk for Europe grows, because so many countries depend on Russian crude. Efforts to agree on EU oil embargo has been blocked by Hungary's refusal to agree to a ban on Russian imports it received through the huge Soviet-era friendship pipelines that run across Ukraine.
Valentin Yumashev, the son-in-law of former Russian leader Boris Yeltsin, who helped Vladimir Putin come to power, has quit his role as a Kremlin advisor. Yumashev was an unpaid advisor with limited influence on Putin's decision-making, but his departure removes one of the last links inside Putin's administration to Yeltsin's rule, a period of liberal reforms and Russia's opening up towards the West.
Putin ordered his armed forces to attack Ukraine on February 24th in an invasion the Western governments say is an act of unjustified aggression and which Moscow calls a special operation necessary to protect Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine. In March, Anatoly Kubras, another senior Yeltsin-era figure, left his role as a Kremlin special envoy. This month, a diplomat a Russian mission to the United Nations resigned over the war. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov did not immediately respond to the request of the comment of Yushkev's leave his advisory role and did not answer a call from his mobile number. Yushkev did not respond to the request of comment by Reuters. Lyudmila Telfon, first deputy executive director of the Boris Yeltsin Presidential Center Foundation, where Yushkev is a member of the board of trustees, told Reuters that Yushkev have given up his Kremlin advisor role in April. Asked why he left, she said it was inattentive. A second person familiar with Yushkev's thinking, who spoke on the condition of autonomy, also said that Yushkev is April ceased to be a presidential advisor. Under Yeltsin, who was Russian president from 1991 to 1999, Yushkev served as a Kremlin advisor and later the Kremlin chief of staff. He is married to Yeltsin's daughter Tatiana. Yumashev was running for presidential administration in 1997 when Putin was a former KGB spy who had been given a middle-ranking administration job in the Kremlin of the early years. Was promoted to be deputy Kremlin chief of staff. That promotion provided a springboard for Putin to be anointed as Yeltsin's heir apparent and win the presidential election in 2000 after Yeltsin had stepped down. Through Putin's policies over the years to diverge from the values of the Yeltsin's epoch, the Russian leader has kept his ties to the former First Family. In January 2020, according to the Kremlin website, Putin visited Yeltsin's daughter Tatiana at the home and congratulated her on her birthday. The adult daughter and Vladimir Yeltsin, Tatiana Maria, posted on her Instagram account on February 24th an image that Ukraine's flag along with the words "No War" and broken heart emoji.
You're watching EAC News. Thanks for joining us. Iranian TV on Monday 30th May released footage of Iran's security forces on board a Greek tanker after it was seized in the Gulf on Friday 27th May. Greek-flagged Prudent Warrior was one of 2 Greek vessels that was seized by Iran on Friday. Tehran had warned it would take punitive action against Athens over the confiscation of Iranian oil by the United States from a tanker held off the Greek coast. Greek authorities last month impounded the Iranian-flagged Pegasus of Greece due to European Union sanctions. The United States later confiscated the Iranian oil cargo held on board, reported on Thursday, 26 May. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday condemned the unjustified seizure of 2 Greek-flagged vessels by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard last week, the State Department said. Iranian forces seized 2 Greek tankers in the Gulf on Friday, shortly after Tehran warned it would take punitive action against Athens over the confiscation of Iranian oil by the United States from a tanker held off the Greek coast. Iran's continued harassment of vessels and interference with navigational rights and freedoms are a threat to maritime security and the global economy, Blinken said in the statement. Blinken made the comments in a telephone call with Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Dendias, the department said. The U.S. and Greek diplomats called on Iran to immediately release the seized vessels, their cargoes, and their crews. Blinken said the United States stands with its NATO ally in the face of this unjustified seizure. Iran's state maritime body said on Saturday that the crew of the 2 Greek tankers had not been detained and were in good health and being cared for on board their vessels. The Pegasus and its Russian crew were later released, but the seizure inflamed tensions as Iran and world powers seek to revive a 2015 nuclear deal. Let's have a look at today's finance. The CSX index is currently at 506.53 points, down 1.18 points or 0.23%. The daily exchange rate is 4,062 Khmer Rial to the USD. And now a look at what else is happening in finance around the world.
Stocks wobbled and bonds fell in Asia, while the dollar rose on Tuesday after hot inflation regarding Germany's highlighted nerves about the pace and scale looming interest rate hikes. Rising energy prices added to the worry about the persistence of consumer pain. Brent crude futures touched a 2-month top of 122.43 cents a barrel after European Union vowed to slash imports of Russian oil by year's end. In equities, SP 500 futures gave up early gains to fall back to flat early in the ASEAN session, and the Nasdaq 100 futures were up 0.4%. MSCI's broadcast index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan snapped up a 2-day winning streak and dropped 0.2%, and Japan's Nikkei fell 0.1%. US Treasuries slumped to return on Monday's US holiday, sending the yield to 10-year bond up nearly 10 basic points to 2.8405%. The dollar traded on Tuesday as 107.44 per euro, up 0.3%, and 128.16 yen, about 0.4% higher. The trade-sensitive Australian and New Zealand dollars fell, with the Aussie down 0.2% at 71 cents and the Kiwi down 0.4% at 65.3 cents. Oil prices rose after European Union agreed to slash oil imports from Russia by the end of 2022. US crudes rose to $117.70 a barrel. The stronger dollar pushed the spot gold a fraction lower to $1,848 an ounce. Bitcoin railed hard overnight, jumping nearly 8% and topping 32,000 for the first time in 3 weeks. It sat just below there at $31,540 early in the ASEAN session. Bitcoin rose 7.93% to $31,780.51 at 10 o'clock. On Monday, up 2,334.8 from the previous close. The world's biggest and best-known cryptocurrency is up 25.1% from the year's low of May of $25,401.05 on May 12th. After the coin link to the Ethereum blockchain network rose 9.8% to $1,989.38 on Monday, adding to $177.54 to its previous close. In the Crip Station Cafe in downtown Buenos Aires, trendy young Argentinians order their lattes and pastries surrounded by screens with real-time cryptocurrency price quotes and huge neon Bitcoin loan. The bill can be paid in digital money too. Savers in South American nation is increasingly being drawn to cryptocurrency to offset years of painful inflation, now running nearly 60%. Struggling off a recent market crash, El Salvador's troubled experiment with virtual tender. In April report, Americans' market intelligence showed crypto preference in Argentina was 12%, around the double of level of Mexico and Brazil. Adoption to hyperinflation plagued Venezuela in a higher, according to the Crypto Chancellor's report. The draw is a lack of confidence in the local peso currency, which has depreciated 14% this year against the dollar. Capital controls limited foreign exchange to 200 monthly are spurring crypto adoption. Annual inflation rose 58% in April and could go as high as 70% this year, a rate which crypto attractive despite the recent crash, which has seen stable coins like Tesla USD and Tether side and Bitcoin drop to a 6-month low. The central bank has warned repeatedly about the risk of investing in volatile digital currencies, and some adopters are taking it carefully. Sebastian Casio, 23 from Port Exportar, neighbourhood outside the capital, has said little to lose. He is looking to dig himself out of poverty using homemade cryptocurrency mine he assembled with recycled computer parts from his work. Even if the nation currency loses value, cryptocurrency is not based on the Argentinian peso but on dollars or euros, so it will always keep the same value, Christo is told.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. And finally, the song Rainbow for Tomorrow, recorded in Cambodia during the 1980s, was handed over to the Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs through its embassy, as a show of friendship between the two countries, and to also reminisce over Cambodia's perseverance in recovering from war to the developed country it is today. Prime Minister Hun Sen previously said that he was moved to tears when Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida played him the song during the 4th Asia-Pacific Water Summit in Kumamoto, Japan. Speaking at the handover ceremony of the song Rainbow for Tomorrow at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday, 30th May, the Japanese ambassador to Cambodia, Mikami Masahiro, said that the song was written and sung by a well-known Japanese singer and actress, Minamino Yoko. The video for the song was recorded during her first visit to Cambodia in 1989 for a television project before the Japanese embassy was officially opened in Cambodia. The ambassador confirmed that the song was first screened at the Kizuna Festival in February this year, and the Japanese Prime Minister introduced this song during a dinner held for Prime Minister Hun Sen in Kumamoto at the end of April. The ambassador said he hopes this song will be played and sung together by the people of Cambodia and the people of Japan on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Cambodia and Japan in 2023. He further added, "I believe that the history of relations between our two countries is based on people-to-people exchanges and feelings of mutual respect for each other. From this perspective, I feel that Rainbow for Tomorrow reminds us of our friendship and how it will continue into the future. I therefore hope that many Cambodian people will watch and listen to and enjoy this song and video." In the song Rainbow for Tomorrow, Minamino Yoko describes her journey to Cambodia and how she saw warmth in the eyes of the Cambodian people, saying that she has made friends with the people of Cambodia through their eyes and not with words. She saw the suffering of the Cambodian people with her eyes and vowed to never flee or leave them behind. The rainbow in the sky in the song represents the connection between Japan and Cambodia, taking a step forward for the future with friendship. At the end of the song, the lyrics say, "The rainbow in the sky becomes a bridge connecting each other, looking at the same sky, wishing for the future to create tomorrow together." The owner of the song Rainbow for Tomorrow, Minamino Yoko, said in a video played during the ceremony this afternoon that she would like to send the song to Prime Minister Hun Sen and all Cambodians. She recalled the first time she came to Cambodia in 1989, traveling to primary schools, orphanages, and hospitals, where she learned a lot and felt the energy of the Cambodian people. When she came for the second time in 2013, the girl she had met in 1989 had become an adult, which made her very excited. She said, "I am very interested to see children who used to be innocent and energetic become good mothers or play an active role in various careers. My desire is to continue having a closer and stronger relationship with Cambodia. I told my friends this, and my friend felt the same way. As a first step, we wrote this song." She hopes that the Cambodian people will listen to the song and hopes to sing with the Cambodian people as they commemorate the 70th anniversary of Cambodia-Japan relations next year. The Secretary of State for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Tuat Panya, thanked the Embassy of Japan for handing over the copyrighted song to Cambodia, particularly thanking the song owner and the Japanese television company for allowing Cambodia to broadcast it on the official national website and television channel in Cambodia. The Secretary of State said, The song Rainbow for Tomorrow, which has just been screened a moment ago, truly reflects the reality of Cambodia in the late 1980s and the gradual transformation and development of the country, as well as people-to-people connections between our two countries. I am confident that many Cambodian people will also be deeply touched by this wonderful song, which will also help to promote the long-lasting bond of friendship between the people of Cambodia and Japan. Speaking at the meeting with Grade A students on the morning of 3rd May 2022, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that in recent weeks, he has shed happy tears twice. The first time was when he went to attend the 4th Asia-Pacific Water Summit in Japan. While in Japan, Prime Minister Hun Sen met with Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who played a music video of a song Japan had written on the hardships of the Cambodian people after the Khmer Rouge. Upon watching this video, Prime Minister Hun Sen said he shed tears in front of the Japanese Prime Minister. Prime Minister Hun Sen said he shed tears again after seeing all the changes in Cambodia now compared to the time right after the liberation from the Khmer Rouge regime. He said, "When I recall the past, I did not imagine what we would have today when we left the Pol Pot regime in the post-war phase. When I remember that song that used old pictures, it made me reminisce the tragedy of the Cambodian people in the past. This morning, I saw the progress of our young people. I am so proud and excited to the point of tears." Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Smart TV, Telegram, or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.